He waited for hours, staring at the empty chair in front of him. The candle between them flickered, reflecting the loneliness in his eyes. The waiters whispered, "That's Adrian Blake, the CEO of Blake Industries." His date stood him up again. But before anyone could pity him, the door opened, and a girl, drenched from the rain, walked straight toward his table and sat down. Only she wasn't supposed to be there. She thought it was her seat. And that single mistake would change both their lives forever. Before we dive into this heart-touching story of fate, mistakes, and second chances, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Hopeful Stories, where every story reminds you that love and kindness can happen when you least expect it. The rain poured endlessly that evening. Inside the luxurious French restaurant, every table glowed under the soft golden light. People whispered, glasses clinked, laughter echoed. But one man sat silently near the window. A man everyone knew, but no one dared to approach. Adrian Blake, the cold-hearted CEO. Rumor had it, he never smiled, never trusted, and never loved. His company made millions, yet his heart remained poorer than any beggar's. Tonight was supposed to change that. His friend had set him up on a blind date, insisting he give love a chance, so he came. In his dark suit, his hair slicked perfectly, his wristwatch shining with the weight of wealth. But she didn't show up. Minutes turned to hours. The waiter refilled his glass twice. The candle burned shorter, its flame trembling. Adrian's eyes stayed on that one chair, empty, like the part of him he'd buried long ago. He finally reached for his coat when suddenly, "Excuse me," a soft, flustered voice broke through the murmurs. A young woman stumbled in, soaked from head to toe. Her shoes squeaked, her hair clung to her face. She clutched a small handbag that looked older than she was. Everyone stared, whispering about her shabby clothes in such a fancy place. She looked around anxiously, then her eyes brightened as she spotted Adrian's table. Without thinking twice, she hurried over. "I'm so sorry I'm late," she said, sitting down. Adrian blinked. "I think traffic was crazy," she continued, panting. "I almost gave up, but here I am." The waiter, confused, looked at Adrian for a cue. Adrian, too stunned to speak, simply nodded. Something about her trembling hands, her nervous smile, stopped him from sending her away. For the first time in years, someone's mistake made him curious. "So," she said, catching her breath, "you must be Daniel?" Adrian's lips twitched. "Daniel? Yes, my blind date?" she said, hesitating now as his cold, handsome face studied hers. He leaned back slightly, arms crossed. "I'm not Daniel." Her eyes widened. "What?" "You're sitting at the wrong table." Her face turned red instantly. "Oh, no, this is table 7, right?" "He said to meet here?" She fumbled for her phone, scrolling frantically. "Oh my God, I'm at table 17. Adrian couldn't help it. He laughed. A quiet, genuine laugh that startled even him. The sound drew glances from nearby tables. The cold CEO had laughed. I'm so sorry," she stammered, grabbing her bag. "I'll go." "Wait." His voice stopped her. "You're already here. Sit. Eat. You look like you haven't eaten all day." Her lips parted. "But I insist," he said, waving the waiter over. And that's how Lily, a poor florist struggling to pay rent, ended up sharing dinner with one of the richest men in the city, by pure accident. They talked. Or rather, she talked while he listened. She spoke of dreams, of flowers, of her mother's illness, of how even on bad days, she believed kindness had power. Her voice was soft, yet her words carried something he hadn't felt in years, warmth. When the night ended, she thanked him and left, leaving behind nothing but a faint scent of rain and daisies. But for Adrian Blake, something had changed. He didn't know it yet, but that night, the wrong girl, the wrong table, was the right beginning. Pause for narration tone. If you're loving this unexpected twist of fate so far, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Hopeful Stories, because the second chapter will prove that sometimes destiny wears the face of a stranger. The next morning, Adrian couldn't stop thinking about her. The girl who had accidentally sat at his table had left a mark deeper than anyone ever had. Her laughter echoed in his mind, her kindness replayed in flashes. He searched for her name, Lily. He found the tiny flower shop where she worked. It was small, tucked between two busy stores, but it smelled like hope. When he entered, she was arranging wilted flowers into something beautiful. She looked up, startled. "Mr. Blake?" she gasped. He smiled faintly. "You remembered my name. How could I forget the man whose dinner I crashed?" she said with an awkward laugh. "He bought every bouquet she had that day." "You shouldn't do that," she said, frowning. "Consider it an investment," he said softly, "in the person who made me laugh for the first time in years." From then on, he visited often, sometimes with no reason. He'd watch her greet customers with warmth he didn't know still existed in this world. Slowly, the cold CEO began to melt. One rainy afternoon, Lily's shop closed suddenly. Her mother's condition had worsened, and she couldn't afford the surgery. Adrian found her crying quietly outside the hospital. "Why didn't you ask for help?" he asked. "Because I didn't want to be someone you pitied," she said through tears. "You have everything." "I have nothing." Adrian took her hand. "You gave me something I never had, peace. Let me help." He paid for her mother's surgery, not as charity, but as gratitude. Weeks later, when her mother recovered, Lily came to his office with a small bouquet of daisies, the same flowers she'd worn that first night. "For you," she said softly. He looked at the flowers, then at her. "Lily, that night you sat down by mistake." She smiled. Maybe it wasn't a mistake. And in that moment, the man whose heart had once been colder than winter finally found spring. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Hopeful Stories for more tales that remind you. Fate might be late, but it always finds its way. Because sometimes the wrong table leads to the right forever. Would you like me to format it in YouTube narration style, with scene directions, pauses, and emotional tone cues for the voiceover? It'll make it sound more cinematic for your channel.